The top stories tonight in Y News. Former President Duterte tops poll of possible 2025 senatorial candidates. The Philippine Coast Guard anticipates a surge in passengers at port areas, maintaining a heightened state of alert as a precautionary measure. The broadcast company Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, seeks legal remedy through a temporary restraining order from the Court Appeals over its suspension order. And Russia warns Japan that it will face tangible negative consequences if Japanese-made patriot missiles end up in Ukraine. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, December 28, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Joselito Liquido. First in the news. Former President Rodrigo Duterte has emerged as the front-runner in the poll of possible 2025 senatorial candidates. However, amidst this political momentum, there remains a significant segment of Filipino population that has yet to decide on their preferred candidates for the upcoming midterm elections. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Among the 45 names on the list, former President Rodrigo Duterte emerges as the front-runner, poised to lead the race for senator if the 2025 midterm elections were held today. This conclusion is based on the Pahayag end-of-year survey conducted by Publicus Asia Incorporated, with 1,500 respondents from November 29 to December 4, 2023. The former chief executive garnered a 48% voting predisposition and a 59% trust rating. In the second position is ACT-CIS Party List Representative Erwin Tulfo, followed by internist and cardiologist Dr. Willie Ong in third place. The top 10 also includes familiar names such as re-electionist Senators Christopher Bongo, Amy Marcos, and Ronald Bato de la Rosa. Also in the mix are former Senator Tito Soto, former Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso, former Senator Panfilo Lacson, and former Vice President Maria Leonor Leni Robredo. Meanwhile, some Filipinos interviewed by UNTV News have not yet decided whom to vote for in the next midterm elections.
Wala pa po siguro kasi hindi pa rin po namin alam yung mga plataforma nila eh. Yung mga, sa darating pa po sigurong eleksyon. Pag dinatag na nila siguro yung plataforma nila, tsaka lang po siguro makakapag-decide.
Tukod po sa midterm election ng 2025, sa ngayon po hindi ko pa po siya masyado naisip kasi malayo pa.
But others already have their preferences for the senatorial race.
Ano na po, inisip ko na rin po kasi yung mga deserving na mamuno. Pero meron na po akong mga naiisip na kakandidato po na parang iano ko na priority na iboto sa 2025.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
As the year-end approaches, the Philippine Coast Guard anticipates a surge in passengers at port areas. Recognizing the anticipated increase in travelers returning to their respective destinations, the PCG has announced that it will maintain a heightened state of alert as a precautionary measure. Nel Maribohok details why.
Tapos wala po silang explain kung bakit ganun nga ang stranded po. Hindi po namin alam kung wala sila pong paliwanag. Basta sinabi na lang doon sa gate na stranded po daw. Paano po kung wala kaming baon na kanin?
Amy is just one of those who experienced delays in her trip to Bacolod today. Originally scheduled for a 9 p.m. departure from North Port in Manila, her trip has now been rescheduled to December 30. According to Amy, she was already en route to North Port in Manila from Cavite when she learned that the ship she was supposed to board would be delayed. It's unclear to her why the ship's voyage was delayed. Because of this, she has no choice but to remain at the terminal for 2 additional days. According to the Philippine Coast Guard, delays in ships or roll-on, roll-off or ro-ro vessels transporting passengers to their provinces, especially during the holiday season, are inevitable. PCG said it is better for our fellow countrymen to travel earlier and avoid joining the crowd at the pier.
Mabuti po kung mas maaga nakabiyahe yung ating mga passengers para maiwasan yung sobrang habang pila. Pero ina-expect natin, anything can happen. May chance na magkasabay-sabay po lahat, especially if there might be a delay of the travel. Kaya andyan po talaga kami together with the Philippine Ports Authority and of course the stakeholders na tulong-tulong po talaga para maayos ang biyahe na.
As a response to the increased holiday travel, the PCG is on heightened alert until January 3, having deployed approximately 15,000 personnel across different parts of the country. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Another group of Filipino workers who were repatriated from Lebanon has arrived in the country. This batch consists of 9 overseas Filipino workers accompanied by their 5 children. They mark the 20th batch of voluntary repatriation of OFWs from Lebanon. The decision to return follows heightened tensions between Hezbollah militants and Israel, prompting a total of 111 individuals to choose repatriation from Lebanon. Upon their arrival, the repatriated Filipinos will receive financial assistance, livelihood support, and other aid from various government agencies. They have been granted a cash assistance of 125,000 pesos from the Department of Labor and Employment, the Overseas Worker Welfare Administration, Department of Social Welfare and Development, and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Meanwhile, it was announced that the 4th batch of OFWs from Israel is scheduled to arrive at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport tomorrow, December 29.
Patuloy po ang suporta ng ating pamahalaan base po sa direktiba ng ating Pangulo na itong mga kasama natin na umuwi na apektado po ng Israel at saka Hamas conflict. Atin pong sinisiguro na yung pagdating nila dito ay mayroon pong mga assistance na makukuha sila. So yung mga galing po or mapupunta ng halimbawa Mindanao ay may provide po na airplane ticket ang ating OWA at saka yung mga dito is pwede i-house sila sa hotel or yung dito lang na malapit dadalhin sila sa bus.
The broadcast company Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, sought a legal remedy through a temporary restraining order from the Court of Appeals, or CA, over its suspension order by the National Telecommunication Commission, or NTC. Dante Amento tells us why.
Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, argued that its constitutional rights, such as freedom of the press and due process, were violated through a suspension order meted by the National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC. SMNI's legal counsels emphasized they were not given time to respond to the allegations of franchise violations against the broadcast company.
Hindi pa tayo pinagbigyan ng pagkakataon na sagutin yung mga allegation. In the very first place, wala pang allegation, wala pang complaint. Mahirapan kami sumagot sa mga allegation na wala naman dyan. So, para kami nanghuhula ngayon na ano yung sagot namin.
SMNI, through its lawyers, filed on Thursday, December 28, a petition for certiorari seeking for temporary restraining order, or TRO, against the NTC's suspension order and allow its operation to continue.
Kaya pumunta kami dito para ireklamo ang NTC sa pang-aabuso sa isang broadcast entity. Walang iba, SMNI.
Attorney Ronix Suplico further argued why to suspend the entire TV network and not the programs which allegedly committed the violations. It has also a chilling effect to the other media outfits.
Diba dapat ang kasalanan ni Pedro kay Pedro lang? Hindi mo sabihin na buong network ay may kasalanan. Pangalawa, tama yun, may mga complaints laban sa amin. Di ba pag nagsampa ka ng complaint, allegation lang yon, wala pang prebas. Pakinggan mo muna kami.
The SMNI believes that the NTC allowed themselves to be influenced by the House of Representatives by allegedly following the former's resolution.
Yung pag-influensya ng House of Representatives to the NTC is in violation ng ating saligang batas, lalo na yung principle of separation of power. Separation of power, it means the NTC is part of the executive department, hindi isla dapat diktahan ng House of Representatives, and that is the legislative department of our government.
The company is hoping to secure an immediate TRO from the court. Meanwhile, the NTC has no comment yet on the issue. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Russia has warned Japan that it will face tangible negative consequences if Japanese-made Patriot missiles end up in Ukraine. Paul Gatchalian tells us the details live. Yes, Paul, good evening.
Good evening, Osirito. In a significant move, Russia has forewarned Japan of grave consequences that will affect the bilateral ties of both nations if Japanese-made Patriot air defense systems reach the hands of Ukraine forces. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has made an official statement saying that it is possible that the transfer of Patriot munitions by Japan to the United States will go under a well-proven scheme whereby munitions ultimately end up in Ukraine. Japan's weapon export control prohibits shipping to countries that are at war, but Ukraine might still get hold of the Japanese-made weapons indirectly, as Tokyo have already made a statement last week that it will supply Patriot air defense missiles to the United States. Zakharova added that Washington can utilize the weapons however it wants and cannot be ruled out that the Patriot missiles will end up in Ukraine. This would have a critical impact on the Japan-Russia relations that is already tainted since Russia's invasion in February 2022. It would have a tangible negative consequences for global and regional security, Zakharova has warned. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has issued directives to advance war preparations and strategic cooperation, underlining a renewed emphasis on bolstering the nation's defense capabilities. In addition, the leader has outlined economic goals for the upcoming year. The emphasis appears to be on the country's developmental plan and agricultural production. Ruth Bahe tells us why.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has issued directives aimed at accelerating war preparations. According to the state news agency, Kim directed the military, munitions industry, and the nuclear weapons sector on Thursday, December 28, in response to what he described as unprecedented confrontational moves by the United States. This announcement follows a key meeting of the country's ruling party, during which Kim outlined plans to expand strategic cooperation with anti-imperialist independent countries and set forth militant tasks for various sectors. In addition to military directives, Kim emphasized economic goals for the new year, calling it a decisive year to achieve the country's 5-year developmental plan. He also highlighted the need to stabilize agricultural production and address the country's chronic food shortages worsened by border closures during the COVID-19 pandemic. The 9th plenary meeting of the 8th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea concluded with these significant policy announcements highlighting North Korea's strategic and economic priorities for the year ahead. Ruth Bahe, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And in other global news, 10 people have been killed while thousands of properties have been left with no power in eastern Australia. The details are still emerging, but reports indicate a severe and potentially devastating event has occurred, impacting both lives and infrastructure. Mavian Dog will tell us the details live. Yes, Maeve, please go ahead.
Joselito, severe thunderstorms have battered the states of Victoria, New South Wales, and Queensland in Australia on December 25 and 26, killing at least 10 and leaving 90,000 households without electricity. Among those who were killed in Queensland were 3 men whose yacht capsized near Moreton Island during the storm, and 2 women in Gympie who were swept away in flooded stormwater drains while exploring a tunnel. A 9-year-old girl was also found dead after going missing in a stormwater drain south of Brisbane. Meanwhile, in the flood-affected regional Victoria, the body of a man was found in a campground after a flash flooding. A woman who was believed to be camping with the man was also found dead Tuesday night. The wild weather and storms come after intense heat waves in the spring season, with Climate Council Research Director Simon Bradshaw stating that the country is facing an era of escalating climate consequences this summer season. Joselito, the summer season in Australia falls in December to February and is influenced by the El Niño phenomenon. This can cause weather extremes ranging from bushfires to cyclones and thunderstorms. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Mavian Dog, reporting live from Australia. In a recent development, former United States President Donald Trump secured a legal victory as Michigan's Supreme Court declined to review a case challenging his eligibility for the upcoming Republican primary on February 27. 4 voters in the state sought to disqualify Trump based on the alleged role in the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack, arguing a violation of the constitutional provision barring individuals engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office after taking oath to the United States. The Michigan Supreme Court rejected an appeal from these voters, stating that they were not persuaded to review the presented questions. Trump, reacting on his Truth Social platform, characterized the court's decision as a denial of the desperate Democrat attempt to remove him from the Michigan ballot. This contrasts with recent decisions in Colorado where Trump was disqualified under the same constitutional provision. Trump plans to appeal the Colorado ruling as the U.S. Supreme Court. Notably, Trump faces federal charges and in Georgia related to attempts to overturn the 2020 election, but he has not been charged with insurrection concerning the Capitol attack. The Michigan Supreme Court's ruling, while not addressing the merits of the insurrection claim, aligns with the lower court's decision emphasizing that the issue should not be decided by courts in the context of the primary election. Unlike in Colorado, the Michigan ruling leaves room for the voters to revive their case for the November 2024 general election. This legal trajectory underscores the ongoing legal battles surrounding Trump's eligibility and sets the stage for a potential resolution by the U.S. Supreme Court, which could have nationwide implications for Trump's candidacy in the 2024 presidential race. And those are the reasons behind news in other parts of the globe. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. In other news, more passengers are expected to flock Metro Manila terminals as the New Year celebration nears. The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange expects more foot traffic tomorrow, December 29. Today, passenger influx reached 113,195 as of 7 p.m. and it is expected to peak at 150 to 160,000 tonight. Prohibited items were also confiscated, such as knives, other pointed objects, and flammable materials. Travelers are advised to make early bookings and check their trip schedules online before heading to the terminal. In the realm of public transportation, the transport group Piston remains resolute in their call to reverse the 5-year validity extension of the public utility jeepneys franchises. Their stance comes in response to the Office of Transportation Cooperatives' plan to issue special permits to Consolidated Public Utility Jeepneys, or PUJs, a move that has sparked a contentious debate within the transportation sector. JP Nunez will tell us why.
With just 3 days left before the franchise consolidation deadline on December 31, the government has decided to forge ahead with the full implementation of the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program or PUVMP. This move, however, raises concerns about a potential transport crisis as thousands of operators may face difficulties continuing their routes if they fail to meet the consolidation deadline. The Office of the Transport Cooperatives or OTC has clarified that the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB will issue special permits to consolidated public utility vehicles or PUVs to serve commuters on routes previously covered by unconsolidated PUVs.
Ang mangyayari dito, kung yung maiksing ruta na yon hindi nag-consolidate, siguro mga 3 or 4 kilometers, pero nagtra-traverse doon yung mahabang ruta, pwedeng kunin ng mga consolidated na sasakyan yung mga madadaanan nilang mga pasero na hindi nag-consolidate but it will be part of the route.
The OTC has further explained that come January 1, 2024, jeepneys that have not consolidated may still operate, but they will only have until January 31. Within 30 days, operators must provide explanations as to why they did not join cooperatives before the LTFRB makes a final decision on whether to extend their franchises or provisional authority.
Pagdating ng January, yung mga hindi nag-consolidate, tuloy pa rin naman niyang babiyahe dahil we will give them due process.
In response, the transport group Piston has condemned the OTC's statement. Piston's National President Modi Floranda believes that issuing special permits is merely a temporary solution. Piston advocates for reverting to the 5-year validity of franchises for individual operators.
Sa atin ay hindi kailangan mag-issue sila ng another na permit. Ang kailangan natin i-renew nila yung kasalukuyang hawak na ng mga operator.
Tomorrow, December 29, Piston and Manibela will join forces to conduct a massive protest and caravan, joined by other commuters groups. The program is set to begin at 10 a.m. at the University Avenue in Quezon City before marching to Mindiola. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The transport group Piston failed to secure temporary restraining order or TRO from the Supreme Court. In a notice by the High Tribunal, it required only the respondents such as the Department of Transportation or DOTR and the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB within 10 days to comment over the Pistons and other commuters groups' petitions, seeking to bar the implementation of the deadline for the PUV franchise consolidation on December 31, 2023. Meanwhile, Piston filed an extremely urgent motion to issue a TRO this afternoon. They believe there is still time for the court to intervene. Attorney Nery Colmenares said they discovered that there are still some who failed to comply with the consolidation process.
Inamin nila sa circular, fatal admission na may mga ruta na less than 60% ang consolidated. Taliwas ito sa sinabi nila na 70% na ng mga ruta o mga jeepney ang consolidated.
Ang problema po natin, meron pong mga ruta na 0% consolidated at yan po ang inihain namin sa PRO. Wala pong jeep na Project 23. Nagaling Project 23 ang konsolidado, 0% ang modern jeepney dyan sa ruta na yan. Mapa Welcome Man o Quiapo.
The Philippine National Police recently presented some of the confiscated, prohibited, and powerful firecrackers in Bocaue, Bulacan. This December, authorities have arrested 6 individuals for violating laws related to selling and manufacturing of illegal firecrackers, with expectation of more apprehensions before the year comes to a close. Kath Dumaraos tells us why.
Law enforcement is making strides in curbing illegal firecracker production and sales this month. The latest arrest, which occurred on December 24, involves an individual known as alias Nino from Barangay Binyan, Bocaue, Bulacan.
Ang naaresto po natin is nag-ano na po ng 6 na katao. Tapos sa kabuuan na po ng Bulacan na accomplishment po is meron na po tayong 6 din na successful operation po sa illegal na paputok.
Authorities seized a sack of prohibited firecrackers containing 200 rounds of sawa and Judas belt, 80 pieces of kabasi, and 4 packs of plapla with an estimated street value of no less than 6,000 pesos.
Ito pong nakikita niyo po ngayon, ito po yung pinaka-latest nating successful operation. Ito po, may mga sawa, may mga plapla po na pinagbabawal po, pero sa po natin marami po pong nag-a-attempt na gumawa. Kaya po ating kapulisan nagdo-double time po para bantayan po yung mga illegal na manggagawa nito.
In a separate incident, a man was reprimanded by the Bureau of Fire Protection of BFP after smoking in front of a fireworks store next to his motorcycle. When confronted, the man claimed ignorance, stating that he was unaware of the prohibition of smoking near firecracker establishments.
Ako galing, pababa ako dito.
Saan galing?
Sa kabila, sa Manila. Kailangan ko ng bus. Hindi ko po alam na bawal manigarilyo dito kasi malayo naman po sa
Pero bawal pa rin?
Diretso lang po kasi ako, diretso lang. Papatay nasin din
Authorities emphasize the importance of refraining from using firecrackers as the year-end approaches. However, for those who cannot resist, extra precautions are urged to avoid any regrettable incidents.
Binigyan po ng warning. Pero ayun po, pinaikting po natin sa kapulisan din na talagang pinagbabawal yung paninigarilyo at pagte-testing. Ganun din po yung additional yung pagbe-vape po. Mag-iikot po kami. After nito, pag-iikot-ikot pa rin po para dun sa mga ganyan.
A reminder from authorities, if you observe anyone smoking or engaging in suspicious activities near firecracker stalls, promptly report it to the authorities to prevent the sale of illegal firecrackers and incidents that may lead to fires. Kat Maraos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In a reassurance to the public, the Department of Agriculture or DA ensures an ample supply of rice until March 2024. According to DA Undersecretary Roger Navarro, this assurance stems from the combination of imported rice that has arrived in the country along with ongoing local production efforts. As of December 14, the total rice import to the country has reached 3.2 million metric tons. Additionally, the DA anticipates over 500,000 metric tons from December to February next year. This includes a donation of 40,000 bags of rice from Taiwan and 295,000 metric tons of rice allocated by India. The majority of the imported rice comes from Vietnam, followed by Thailand, Myanmar, Pakistan, and India, contributing to the diverse sources ensuring the country's rice supply. The DA's proactive measures and the collaborative efforts with other nations underscore their commitment to maintaining a stable food supply. Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of the Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs chapter 18 verse 16, it says, "A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men." And those are the reasons behind the news December 28, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.